Hi, I just wanted to make a video about how to build a flower bed that's actually self-watering because it's made as a wicking bed. This is a bed I put in last year, and it was absolutely packed with flowers. I hardly had any maintenance on it because there was almost no watering required since it's a wicking bed. And I was going to show you how I built this. I'm looking forward. This is the 1st of March, so there's nothing in there except a few wood sorrels, but there will be filled with annual flowers when it gets a little bit warmer and we can plant again. But I wanted to show you how to build one of these because they're so much easier than a regular flower bed and so much more successful. This is the bed that I'm building now. I'm making all my front beds into wicking beds after experiencing last year. And what you do is you dig it out. It needs to have some place to drain. I found that this lower corner here will suffice as the drain on the bed, and I have to dig it out, get the ground level to where I can lay in a liner, which I'm about to do now. Okay, well, I've cut and laid in my liner for the wicking bed, and I use EPDM, the 40 mil EPDM. I made a mistake last year in trying to save some money and used the sheet plastic from Home Depot, and pretty quickly it sprung leaks. That 6 mil just isn't enough. You need a tough liner, and as long as you're going to go to the trouble of making a wicking bed, go ahead and spend some money. This EPDM isn't cheap, but it'll last for the rest of your life, so I would suggest that you go ahead and spend the money to get the good stuff. That's what I've learned the hard way. Anyway, you'd need to cut a piece, measure it to where you'll have a little overlap on each side. Like right here, I'm going to be putting rocks down to rock around it. It looks better, it holds the liner, and so that's what I'm about to do now, is to lay in the drain pipe where you'll be filling it up with water. Now I need to lay in the fill tube, and what the tube is actually a drain pipe that you can buy at Home Depot, and it's a plastic pipe that has holes in it, and it also has a sock over it so it screens out and keeps the dirt out of the pipe so it won't get clogged up. But of course I need to occlude the ends, and I'm going to zip tie some landscape fabric over the end so the water can get in but dirt can't get in the ends. And then I need to put install a fill tube so that I can run my hose in here to fill up the wicking bed with this with the pipe. So I'm going to put on the zip tie on the ends, and then drill a hole for my fill pipe to go down in, and that's how I'll be filling up the bed. You can see I've zip tied some landscape fabric over the end, and I've cut a hole in the fabric because I'm going to drill a hole to put a 1 1/4 inch PVC down in there for my fill tube. I found that the hole saw to use to do that is a 2 inch. So if you have a 2 inch hole saw, you just cut a hole like this, and the tube fits right down there, and it works perfectly for a fill tube for your wicking bed. You can see that I've got my drain pipe in. This is going to enable it to be filled with water without getting the dirt involved in it, and you can also see where I've put my fill tube, and that'll stick above the ground, of course, and then I'll just put a hose in it, fill it till I found that this little corner right here is my low spot, and that's just above the height of the tube, so that'll be a good place for it to drain. And what I'll do is, when I put my water in, I'll just watch until it finally starts to overflow out this corner, and then I'll know that I've got a full wicking bed. So I'm ready now to install the compost. I have found over years, I'm 71, and I've been gardening for a long time, is that just pure good quality compost is the best thing you can do for a bed. Don't worry about inclusions of other dirts or anything like that. I can show you how to address a little bit of the nutrient issue there, but just get a good load of compost. Usually there's guys that'll haul you 10-yard dump truck full if you're going to do several beds, which I do, and then you can just fill this with compost, and it's just the best thing you can grow anything in. Make it a lot easier on you. Okay, well, I finished the build. I'm going to, of course, trim the liner, and then this front edge I'm going to rock like I showed you on that other bed, the first one. And the hose is in there now, filling it up. You have to get all of your compost wet so it'll wick. If you leave the top half dry, just fill up the bottom, well, it won't wick, because it has to have the moisture all the way through the soil before it'll pull the water up to the surface. The other thing I was going to suggest is Osmocote. I have tried every additive over the last 25 years, and Osmocote is the clear winner. I've tried Miracle Grow, all the different sorts of Miracle Grow, all the Scott stuff, Expert, all of those, and I always have success with Osmocote. So my suggestion would be, when you put your plant in, liberally sprinkle some Osmocote in the hole and then put it in, and you will not be unhappy. Everything will work out just fine. And if you do this wicking bed, you're going to find that easily, without having to worry about watering it, I live in Central Texas where watering is a big issue, you will have a very lush bed all summer long. The other thing that's, I think, valuable here, I'm speculating here, but I think it's the truth, is that because the water, there's a reservoir of water at the bottom of the bed, you won't have the freeze issues that you would have if it was just dry soil all the way through. So I'm anticipating, especially some of my begonias, to be re-emerging this year, because I think those roots won't get frozen, because of that reservoir of water will keep that bed a lot warmer than if the soil was just dry through those cold spells. Anyway, good luck with everything. I hope this helped. As I said, I found this to be so successful that it's there's not even a contest out there of what to do as far as putting in a new bed. And again, I would suggest pure compost. Don't worry about soil. The compost is going to break down over time anyway and become a soil. But in the meantime, especially with the additive of Osmocote, you're going to have very successful plantings. Thank you. I did think I thought I'd add this afterwards. You can see where the water is coming out like I anticipated. The wicking bed is full now, and so now I know all I have to do is just wait till I see the water running out, and then I know the wicking bed is full. So I'm going to go turn the water off now. And but first, actually, when you're installing a wicking bed, you need to take the hose out, because this compost up here is dry, and it all needs to be wet so that the wicking will occur. If it stays dry, then it won't wick through dry compost. So make sure you've got a very soggy bed before you leave it. Eventually all this water, of course, will run out over here at the low part, but just make sure you've got wet soil before you leave it.